is if you've got a page that you've been blogging on for 6 months or more, and your page has no likes and no comments when you go look at your wall, not how many people like your page, but the actual content that you're producing, your weight and your affinity score are really, really low right now. And I think this is where sometimes, honestly, starting the game over and recreating a page, if you've got less than 100 fans, you can recapture those guys pretty quick if you come up with a new plan that's better than that first plan that you came up with. But that's what EdgeRank is all about, and I'm going to send you guys part of that email. It's going to explain that. But you can also just Google EdgeRank and find a little bit more about it. Let's talk a little bit about the insights. Okay, this is basically Google Analytics for Facebook. It's not. It doesn't have a million great features like Google Analytics does, but it does give you some pretty useful information. Okay, there's two sections once, and let me show you because they moved it around. But if I were to go here to the Real Estate Tomato, insights are now over here on the right side of the screen under the admin field. Okay, it says View Insights. And basically, what you've got, there's two sections, and there's user data and interaction data. The user data shows what I was talking about earlier. It shows you your active monthly users, which is a really useful number because that's how many people are really participating with you. It's not, it discounts all the people who have hidden you, and it discounts all the people who have become a fan, but they never log into Facebook. So you're not reaching them. They're just not logging in. So how could you possibly reach them? And there's no magic percentage. But if you've got 500 fans and 100 monthly active users, then you don't have a very good engagement. Okay. But if you've got, like the Real Estate Tomato, we've got like 3,000 fans and 2,100 active users, which really isn't that bad. That means that most of the people that have decided to comment on us or become a fan of us, they're still engaged with what we're sending them and things like that. Like sources, it shows where people came from. There's fan demographics if you're interested in how many women like your page versus how many men and things like that. What age groups they are is pretty useful. What tabs people have viewed, and that's fairly useful. Again, it'll show you, if you go look at yours right now, you'll see that very few people go and look at things like your welcome tab and things like that unless you've really set up some sort of resource for them to see on there. And then it also shows you referring sources. So for instance, if you've got a fan box widget set up on your blog and things like that, it shows you where these new fans and visitors are coming from. Then there's interaction data, and this shows you some really good information. This shows you for the most recent posts that you've made, status updates that you've made. It tells you the date and the time, which helps you sort of figure out that same graph we were looking at a moment ago about when is most successful. But it shows you the number of impressions. These are or people that laid eyes on your content, and then it shows you the percentage of that impression that provided feedback. And when they measure feedback, that's either a like or somebody commenting. So you can have something that has very few impressions, but if a lot of people liked it, then the feedback can be very high. And this would be a number that I would start working on. This is a number that you really need to focus on. I don't care if you're at 0.01, if you can keep improving it up to 0.02, 0.03, then you're improving the feedback, which in the grand scheme of things, that's how people are interpreting your content, okay? Meaning that if you've got popular content, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people or 100 people who are seeing it, but you should be getting a good feedback. And again, I mean, you can see my feedback like rarely goes, it's never gone over 0.1. That means that less than 1% of the people who saw it chose to comment on it, okay? But it's I'm pretty consistent with a decent above 0.5 number. And so work on those specific things. But again, you can look at you can try to determine what's most popular by subject matter, media type, description, date to post, time to post. If you do open house every Thursday or every Friday on here, and the impressions are high, but feedback is always 0, 0, 0, 0, then maybe you need to stop doing that open house. People are seeing it and nobody's responding to it. What does that tell you? You know? I mentioned that I would talk about this automation idea. I'm actually going to can talking about each method, but honestly, my main concern right now, because we've over the years social media has changed, and it used to be that everybody wanted to automate this. Honestly, it takes less than 20 seconds to manually add a link to your content and write a quick little description about what it is that they're receiving, and it's not worth it to use these automated procedures. For Art that asked how he can switch it, he said that his blog posts were posting to his personal Facebook profile right now, and at the bottom of that personal profile, it generally will say how it was promoted there, and I would just click that link and try to follow that back to the source. But Ark, if you want to email me, you're a tomato, so if you want to email me, and I might be able to walk you through the steps on how to cancel it if you can't figure it out. And then I wouldn't recommend setting it back up automatically on your fan page. I would recommend posting that in the morning, like it says that mornings are more popular, and try it. Try out different times. Try 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and see what gets more impressions and things like that. So now I've got here 10 ways to get the word out, okay? And there's a lot more than 10 ways, but the first is the suggest to friends method, okay? I'm actually not a huge fan of this for the people that just sort of suggest blanketly to every friend that they have. If you want to suggest a fan page to somebody, that's great, but go through your list of friends and think about it and just say, I don't want to send it to them, I don't want to send it to them, I don't want to send it to them. I mean, I've got friends all across the country. Very few of them outside of my immediate area would want to be fans of a page called McClellanville, South Carolina. Okay? And so just think about that. Don't just blanketly suggest things to friends that have no interest in it. You can like your own page and your content that will show up on your personal profile feed, and that's a good way to sort of get the word out as well. You don't have to keep doing it forever and ever and ever, but you got to like it one time in the beginning. You might as well click like on it once you've got a couple of posts up there, and let it go out on your feed. Post about it on your blog. You can write an individual post for your blog. You can put a link on your personal profile on Facebook. You can put a link on Twitter. You can put a link on anything that links people over to it. Again, creating and uploading a viral video is a really good way to get the word out. Just produce a video, not a listing video that's not going to go viral, but something local that relates to the content of your website, and put that out there, and that can really help push a page out to as many fans as you can. Use the @ symbol like we talked about. You can add a like button to your blog. We with the Real Estate Tomato use a WordPress plugin called FBHQ. So if you're a tomato blogger, you can activate that. I actually tried to set up a separate blog on another server and couldn't locate the FBHQ plugin, so I don't know what the status on that is anymore. Facebook widgets and plugins, like you see this little guy right here. I'm not a fan of putting the stream of your most recent post on this. And you don't even have to put fans if you don't want to. You could just have it be a little button that says, find us on Facebook, and then it says the name of your page, and it has a like button. Okay? The way you get this is this link right here, and I'm going to send that out to everybody. Okay? It's part of the Facebook. And in fact, it also, they've made it even easier. It says promote with an ad here, and then it also, on the edit pages, there's a whole tab here called, I think it's under the apps. No. Here we go. Under the marketing tab, it gives you a button for add a like box to your website. I don't know what create an alias is, honestly. Get a badge. Those are two things that you could do. Um, so Facebook widgets, add a link in your email signature that says, find me on Facebook and has a link like that. And then finally, Facebook advertising, which I'm teaching a class on tomorrow. Okay. One last or two last slides, but if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask me. But I thought this was an important study to put up at the end. This was done in September of last year, 2010, and it was a study of why people unsubscribed. Okay, so once you get the fans, we want to make sure that we keep them, and so just look at these numbers and just sort of drill them into your brain for a second. But the biggest one is 32% said that they were no longer interested in the brand. Okay, we can combat that. We can continuously promote interesting material, and hopefully they'll always be interested. Now, if somebody moves away, then yeah, they might not be interested in that content anymore. Information was published too frequently. That's the second largest percentage of this pie here, and I think that's, again, an important thing to consider. Facebook is not known for frequent updates, as opposed to like Twitter, which 5 to 10 updates a day on Twitter is not uncommon at all. That's on par. But really, 2 to 3 updates in a day is considered an appropriate level, and I wouldn't go much higher than that unless you've got a specific business plan that outlays, I'm going to be updating 5 times a day because this is what I'm writing about, and that's what the fans are brought up to understand straight from the beginning. Then they won't be unsubscribing. Information offered was not interesting. Hopefully your content's interesting, but the brand published information that I did not like. Okay, again, that comes down to putting on this filter and saying, is this content that people are going to find interesting and valuable? And I talked a lot about that sort of stuff yesterday on my introduction to social media topics. And then finally, information was not published frequently enough, and that's only 7%. But again, it shows you that you can't go too stagnant. My page doesn't get updated, but sometimes once a week, and it's really just because I got so many things going on. But I try to, when it gets to be that sort of weeks gone by and I haven't posted anything, I try to find something great that I can either ask a question or promote something going on in the community, just to get it out there and to keep people interested in what's going on. Finally, let's talk about some resources real quick. Allfacebook.com is a really good resource. Mashable.com has a specific Facebook section, and Mashable is a great resource. It's a really big website that does stellar research and things like that. Facebook has their own blog, and then HyperArts has a good blog for the technically inclined people. I mean, some of the stuff that HyperArts promotes is even above my head, but they used to do FBML stuff. Now they're doing more of other things. But I follow all these people on Facebook, where it's most convenient to me to sort of follow up on that information. Put my contact information up here real quick, and again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to type those in the questions box. But hopefully you can start creating that page. You can start thinking about the content that you're producing, and work on these techniques that I talked about here today. Again, just the simple title of your page really sets the mood. I think some people, just ask yourself, which would you rather like? Daniel Bates, McClellanville real estate agent, or McClellanville, South Carolina? I think just the name that I've associated with that, and it could be the exact same content that I published on either one, but the name that I've associated with one makes it so much more user-friendly. And sometimes people don't think about that user-friendliness, and they just say, well, I have to give it my name because that's why I'm doing this, is to get my name out there. Well, no, if somebody forgets my name, but they can find my Facebook page really quickly, then they're still going to be able to get in touch with me. And that's what it's all about. It's just a way to sort of slowly build in your name as a daily business or a daily reminder you know, hey, Daniel Bates over here. I'm a real estate agent, but here's some free information that you might be interested in. Daniel at realestatetomato.com or TU at realestatetomato.com if you guys have any additional questions. I'm happy to take a look at things and see what we can figure out.